Have you ever encountered financial loss or bullying or stalking through the internet? Have you ever been trapped in a scheme or been fooled by some person through the web? You should not be unaware of the digital world in this era because a minor lapse in managing our digital lives can open door to cyber criminals. So students, it is extremely important to know that how to prevent ourselves from cyber crimes. Now, computers, mobile phones, and also the internet, they have changed the modern life. They provide us with many benefits. However, you have to know that the information technology also makes us vulnerable to a wide range of threats. And all these threats may result in financial loss or it may damage our reputation. So it is very important to study what is cybercrime and what are the types of cybercrime. And if you ever encounter a cybercrime in your life, you must be well aware to how to file a cybercrime complaint in case you face a cybercrime issue, a cyber issue, or you have encountered a cybercrime. You can file a complaint against that. And you have to know how to use the cybercrime.government.in, which is a cybercrime.gov.in, which is the official site for handling cybercrime complaints. Now let us move forward and look at the overview of the video. What are we going to discuss in this video? Through this video, you will understand what is cybercrime, and then we will look at the definition of cybercrime, and then we will try and understand two main types of cybercrime, and then we will address a list of cybercrimes. Like one by one, we will look at each and every cybercrime that is prominent in these days, and then we will try to address a very crucial part, that is how to address or how to file a cybercrime complaint online in India. Okay. Then we will look at National Cybercrime Reporting Portal of India. Then we will actually see what is the helpline number for cybercrimes. And then we will also just have a minor look at cyber laws in India. And through these many topics, we are actually trying to understand what is the base of a cybercrime, like how do you face a cybercrime and what all are the cybercrimes, because if something happens to you, you must be having an awareness that it is a cybercrime. If it is not, you will not know how to proceed on to it. So you have to understand what are the kinds of cybercrimes happening around you, and then you have to be well aware, and then we will look at how to face, if you ever encounter such an issue, how to face all of them and how to move forward and file a complaint if necessary. Now we move on to look at what is cybercrime. It is very simple. A cybercrime is basically a crime, but it just involves computers and networks. That is why it makes a cybercrime. That is, if it involves computers and networks, it is a cybercrime. Now, the computer may have been used in execution of a crime, or it may be the target. That means if a person is committing a crime through a computer or via a computer, then also it is a cybercrime. And if, say, I sit here and target your computer, that is, I am extracting information from your computer without your consent, and I am taking your important informations, and I am looting your say photographs. So what I am doing, I am targeting your computer from my computer or maybe my network. So that is also a cybercrime. That is why the computer which is involved in the crime, it may have been used in the execution of a crime, or it also may be the target. Now I was just explaining cybercrime in layman's term. Now we move on to the formal definition of cybercrime. So we'll break the parts of this definition and look at each one. First part is any unlawful act. Okay. Where a computer or communication device or computer network is used to commit or facilitate the commission of a crime. So, cybercrime is basically any unlawful act that is a crime. Any unlawful act, which means crime. Now, what is involved? Where a computer or communication device, that may be like mobile phones or tablets, whatever it may be, or a computer network. It may not be just a computer, it may be a computer network, and it is used to commit or facilitate the commission of a crime. That means, say a computer A is committing the crime, and another person's computer is actually facilitating the crime, or say maybe there is a mobile phone that is actually helping the crime. So this person is committing the crime. This computer is actually what is, or the computer network is what is committing the crime. But also these people will be booked under cybercrime because they facilitate the commission of a crime. So what is cybercrime? We'll just go through the definition once more. It is any unlawful act where computer or communication device or computer network is used to commit or facilitate the commission of a crime. Next, we look at the two main types of cybercrimes. Basically, there are two main categories of cybercrimes. One is that it may be targeting computer, or it may be involving computer. Okay, these are basically the two types. So we can see criminal activities targeting computer or involving computer. So cybercrimes that target computers, what does it involve? It often involves malwares like viruses. You use certain protection like Kaspersky, internet security like Kaspersky for your computer to prevent viruses like malware like viruses from hijacking or like affecting your computer. So then next we move on to the list of cyber crimes, and we will be looking at certain examples of each. Okay. So what are the set of cyber crimes that you can see around yourself is what we are going to discuss. Now, cyber crimes include monetary crimes as well as non-monetary offenses. Let me just explain to you that very briefly. Suppose I am taking information from your computer and I am asking certain amount of money for it, then it is a monetary crime. If I am doing that not for the benefit of money but for a certain service from you, or if I am asking that you must do something for me, then it is a kind of non-monetary offense, but still it is a crime. Now, the crimes result in damage to the people, computers, or government. So, the first kind of cybercrime that we can observe is child pornography or child sexually abusive material, which is CSAM. Okay. Now, what do you mean by that? Child sexually abusive material, it actually refers to some material or some file that contains sexual images of any form of a child who has been abused or sexually exploited. And Section 67B of the IT Act, Section 67B of IT Act, what does it say? It says that it is punishable for publishing or transmitting of material depicting children in sexually explicit act in an electronic form. So that is what is mentioned in 67B of IT Act. You can actually quote this to substantiate your mains answers. So that is something you have to keep in mind. Moving on to next kind would be cyberbullying. So this is a kind of cybercrime that many of us or many people that in the modern world are facing right now. That is, they encounter any form of harassment or bullying inflicted through the use of electronic or communication devices such as computers, mobile phones, or laptops. It is actually quite evident. You can see, underneath the comment section of many YouTube videos or maybe Instagram videos that if, say, a person is too fat, they are being fat shamed. They are encountering body shame. Suppose, say, there is a person who is facing certain issues. He's maybe, made fun of that, or he's harassed. Certain kind of bullying that occurs through the cyber network, that is called cyberbullying, and it is very evident nowadays, and it is another kind of crime itself. Now, certain kind of similar one would be cyber stalking. So, what is basically stalking? If a person is continuously following you with that in a kind of way that is irritating to you, okay? That is called stalking, basically. So, what is cyber stalking? Cyber stalking is the use of an electronic communication device by a person to follow a person, and he or she, they attempt to contact a person to foster personal interaction repeatedly despite a clear indication of disinterest by a person. That is why I said that it is actually if you say no, or if you are facing an issue and they still follow you and they still try to contact you, that is a kind of stalking, and which happens to the internet is called cyber stalking. He or she may not be also attempt to monitor the internet, email, or any form of electronic communication systems that commits the offense of stalking. Now, moving forward, we look at cyber grooming. And cyber grooming is when a person builds an online relationship with a young person and tricks or pressures him into doing a sexual act. This is actually, you can, when you open the newspapers itself nowadays, you can actually see many instances of cyber grooming where an old man has actually, chat with a younger woman, and they have engaged in conversations, and he has actually done a fraudery, and he is trying to commit sexual relationships with her, and all sort of newses which can be seen, and it is actually called cyber grooming. Now, all these keywords are actually very necessary. They will help you get the extra edge in your exams. Next would be online job fraud, which is also very commonly seen nowadays. That is, you may be getting a notification on your phone saying that there is a certain kind of vacancy requiring urgent, joining, and it is very high paying, say maybe like 1 crore or maybe 10 lakhs. So you have to join urgently, and just pay 10,000 rupees and you'll be getting job of 10 lakh or say 1 crore. All these kinds of online job frauds, and it is attempting to defraud people who are in need of employment, because unemployment is a very crucial problem in India. All these online job frauds, they are actually creating more and more issues. Another kind would be online sextortion, which many people are facing. It is not just the girls, it is also faced by boys actually. Online sextortion, what does it actually occurs when someone threatens to distribute private or sensitive material using an electronic medium. Suppose a person has got your certain certain images or maybe certain videos that are actually private to you and that are very sensitive to you, and somebody threatens to distribute them. That is a case of online sextortion, and it is actually a very important cyber crime. If he or they would also blackmail for money, or maybe they can blackmail for sexual favors or something, and all these belong to online sextortion. Moving forward, looking at the next one would be phishing. Now, it is not the same spelling. It is actually PHISHING. And what does this mean? It is a type of fraud that involves stealing personal information. Personal information like what? Like customer ID, IPN, a credit or debit card number. And you can use these credit or debit card numbers, and you can actually withdraw money from another person's account, and you use the card expiry date, and then there is the CVV number that you get from the cards, and you use that to cheat another person, to loot their money, and all of these comes under phishing. Now, an important part you have to remember is that phishing occurs through emails, okay? And what kind of emails? That appear to be from a legitimate source. Say you get a message from, or an email from, a site called gov.iin. So most people look, okay, there is gov, or say govv, or I'm just saying an example. it may be looking very similar to a legitimate source, but remember that it is not. So you have to know the official government sites. When you receive such a email from a legitimate source, always double check the official government site and see if there is any proof that it is from the legitimate source. And email frauderies are also very common. So the next kind would be phishing. Okay. And what is phishing? Phishing is similar to phishing, and it is an attempt where fraudsters try to seek personal information like customer ID, the same kind of information that we just said before, through a phone call. So what was happening in phishing? Phishing was through email from a legitimate source. And what is phishing? Phishing happens is a kind of fraudery that happens through a phone call where they try to seek your personal information. And then there is smishing. Okay. Now what is phishing? Smishing is a type of fraud that uses mobile phone text messages. So you could see one where email from legitimate sources were involved, and then you could see fraudery through calls. Now what happens? Smishing is through mobile phone text messages, that is the SMS. And what does this try to do? It tries to lure victims into calling back on a fraudulent number, saying that, please call us back, it is an urgent, we need help, or maybe it is saying that call in this number to get this much amount. And all these, fraud messages saying visit this website to get a gift of 1 crore rupees and all. And it also persuades you to download malicious content via phone or web. So remember, all of this kind is smishing. So next we look at sexting, which is another popular kind of cybercrime. And you can actually see that persons involved, they usually send sexually explicit digital images, or it may be certain videos or text messages or emails, usually by cell phone. If it is without the consent of the other person, or if it causes displeasing, or if it is irritating to the other person, it is actually a sort of cyber issue itself. Now, SIM swap scam. What is that? It occurs when the fraud people manage to get a new SIM card, and they issued against a registered mobile number fraudulently through the mobile service provider. And with this new SIM, they actually generate one-time passwords, and they use that OTP to make financial transactions through the victim's account. So they generate a SIM card similar to the one provided to you, and they get the OTP, and they swap. It actually happens like they have your SIM, and your SIM is actually if say you are the victim, they will use this OTP generated in that SIM to loot the money in the victim's account. So it is actually a kind of cybercrime itself. Now, another crime that is very commonly seen is credit card fraud or debit card fraud. And what happens is, you can see that the credit card holder or debit card holder, say they are the victim, and the fraud person, they use the information from this card to withdraw money, and to use it maybe for, it maybe not just withdrawing money, it may be using the card for other purposes also, other mal purposes, other ill purposes, and they use the information from this credit card or debit card, and they use it against the other person's will for monetary or non-monetary benefits. That is credit card fraud or debit card fraud. What happens in impersonalization and identity theft? Here, using the electronic signature, or using the password, or using an OTP, or using a unique identification feature of any person that belongs to one person, that is the victim, they use their identity. And that identity is used for fraudery purposes. That is what happens in impersonation and identity theft. And it actually, say, you have an account, and it has a user ID and a password, and that is your you see, you have logged into an account, you will have a user ID and you will have a password. And while entering this, you can see this is your personal information. This is what creates an identity for you in an online website. Or maybe say you are using Instagram account, you'll be having a user ID and a password, and this is what is your identity to log in and to continue in the process of handling a website or an app. And when they steal this user ID and password and use it for their benefits, the fraudsters or the persons involved in the cybercrime, they commit impersonation and identity theft. Impersonating means imitating, or say I'm copying you. I'm doing a kind of activity like you. That is called impersonation. And identity theft is when I use your identity and use that for a theft in convincing the other people that I am you. Moving forward, we will be looking at spamming. So what usually happens in spamming is that you receive an email or say an SMS or an MMS, and such kind of, they lure you using that information, and they receive a commercial message which is fake actually. It does not exist, and you are persuaded to actually buy a product or buy a service or visit a website or make a purchase. And the fraudsters try to trick the person into giving the bank details or credit card details, and then they will spam you. That is usually called spamming. And then there is the ransomware. Now, what is ransomware? Ransom basically means asking money for kidnapping, or say I have held something hostage against your will, and that is of something important to you, and I ask a monetary benefit, and that is called ransom. And ransomware in terms of cybercrime refers to a type of computer malware that encrypts the file and storage media on communication devices like desktop or maybe laptop or tablet, whatever the communication device, and they hold the data or the information as hostage. And the victim is actually demanded, or he is asked to pay a decent amount of ransom to get his device decrypted or unhijacked, or maybe say the appropriate word would be if your computer is hacked or your cell phone is hacked, he would say that give me a certain amount and I will remove or I will not hack it. It will not be under my hacking anymore. If a certain bug is installed into your computer, or if it is certain such a kind of bug exists, he will remove it and you will have to give a certain amount for that. Now, the next one would be viruses, worms, and trojans. What are they? Now, computer virus is basically a program. Now, what is it used for? It is written to enter to your computer and damage or alter your files or alter your data and replicate itself. Virus is known for creating its replicants, and that is why we call when such a program, it depicts the character feature of a virus, we call that a computer virus. And worms. What is worms? Worms are malicious programs. And what do? They make copies of themselves again and again on local drive and network shares and other network areas. Now, what is a Trojan horse? A Trojan horse is not a virus. You have to remember that it is not a virus. It is a destructive program that looks like a genuine application. It is a destructive program that looks like a genuine application. And in case of Trojans, unlike viruses, Trojan horses do not replicate themselves. They do not replicate themselves, but they can be used as destructive as viruses. Trojans have put a backdoor entry to your computer, which actually gives the malicious users or program access to your system. And what does it do? It allows confidential and personal information of a person to be theft. Now, data breach and denial of services, DOS attack. Now, a data breach is an incident in which information is accessed without authorization. That is an important point. That is, there is a breach that is happening of your data. A denial of services, on the other hand, it is an attack. And it is an attack that is intended to deny access to computer resources without the permission of the owner or any other person who is in charge of a computer or computer system or network. Now, a distributed denial of services, that is the DDoS. Now, DDoS is an attack. And what kind of attack is it? It is an attack that is attempted to make an online service unavailable by overwhelming it with traffic from multiple sources. That is, you put multiple traffic sources and you will overload and you will overwhelm the service and it will no longer be available to you. And that is called DDoS. Now, what is website defacement? Now, that was the next kind of cyber crime or cyber issue that we have in our hand. Now, that is also an attack. It is an attack on a website. And what does it do? It changes the visual appearance of a website, or it can make the website dysfunctional. So it changes the visual appearance, say the font size or the color or the logo is changed, or it makes the website completely dysfunctional, completely or partly dysfunctional, which causes the website to lose their credential, and the attacker may post indecent, hostile and obscene images or messages or videos that can lead to the website's decline, and it may be causing the website to be completely dysfunctional. Moving on to cyber squatting. Now, cyber squatting is an act of registering, trafficking or using a domain name with an intent to profit from the goodwill or trademark. Remember that keyword, goodwill or trademark, that belongs to someone else. That is called cyber squatting, sorry. And what does it do? It actually takes the name or, it takes the name or the domain name that was intended to profit from the goodwill, from the nature and goodwill of another person. And they use that someone else's goodwill for their profits. That is called cyber squatting. And what is farming? No, it is not the usual farming. This has a spelling change. Please do note that. It is PHARMING. Though it is pronounced very similarly. Farming is cyber attack aiming to redirect a website traffic to another bogus website. That there will be a genuine website that is displayed in front of you, but through farming you can actually redirect to a bogus website that is unnecessary for you, but it will be redirected and it's a scam. In today's world, cryptocurrencies are getting more and more prominence, and also according to their value, they are getting actually noted. That is cryptojacking. Cryptojacking, what does it do? It is an unauthorized use, and it is an unauthorized use of computer resources, and it is used to mine cryptocurrencies. Cryptojacking is basically using computer or network to mine or to loot cryptocurrencies. Moving forward, online drug trafficking. So it is also a very common one right now. It, as basically the name suggests, it is actually drug trafficking, which means it is the selling, transporting or illegal importing of unlawful controlled substances. What are all the substances like heroin, cocaine, marijuana or other illegal drugs by electronic means. So basically all of these crimes committed through electronic means like laptop or maybe computer or maybe desktop or whatever it is. You use an electronic means or through the network you sell, transport or import drugs like heroin, cocaine and marijuana. Then we have espionage, which is basically a practice, or which is basically when a person obtains data and information without the permission and knowledge of the owner. So there is no consent over here. A person who is doing this, he is obtaining data and he is obtaining information without the other person's knowledge. Then we have to look at a very crucial point. How do you file a cyber crime through an online means in India? National Crime Reporting Portal of India. The National Crime Reporting Portal of India is a very important website through which we can complain or you can actually file a complaint for a certain cyber crime, and it will be taken into consideration and matters will be proceeded. So it is much more easier than going to a local police station and filing complaint. It is much easier and much quicker. Now you have to see the website link right now. This is the website link, cybercrime.gov.in. If any of you actually have gone through a have faced the repercussions of a cyber crime, you can in any time file a complaint through this website link. Now, just in the before slide, we actually mentioned National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal of India. What is it? Now, National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal of India is actually a portal that is an initiative from Government of India. And this is actually, this was an initiative to facilitate victims or complainants to report cyber crime through online means. Now, this portal caters for all types of cybercrime complaints. Now, it includes complaints pertaining to online child pornography, child sexual abuse material, sexually explicit content like rape or gang rape content, and other cybercrimes like mobile crimes, online and social media crimes, online financial frauds, ransomware, hacking, cryptocurrency crimes. Basically, we mentioned a set of cybercrimes in the last section, and all these crimes can be booked under National Cybercrime Reporting Portal of India. Now, the portal also provides an option for reporting an anonymous complaint. Many of our people find it to actually mention their name, age, and to reveal their identity, because when they come forward, more people may know their identity and they are afraid of that. So this portal also provides an option of reporting an anonymous complaint, which is a very good initiative about reporting online child pornography or sexually explicit content like a rape or gang rape content. So these are the must know facts about National Cybercrime Reporting Portal of India. Now you have to remember, keep this, you can actually dial this number and save it in your phone as a contact. It is the cybercrime helpline number. Okay, in case any of you ever face a cyber crime, we are actually letting you know this, because you will always be getting help, you will always be receiving help from this helpline number. Now, just when you discuss about cybercrime, you'll also have to know what are the basic cyber laws. If you're ever writing about a cyber crime in a mains answer, use these points to substantiate so that you can actually increase the edge of your marks. You can also refer to these acts in detail, these laws in detail, but I'm just letting you know the basic acts and laws. One would be the Information Technology Act of 2000, that is the IT Act of 2000. Very important act. If you are reading about or watching or preparing notes on cybercrimes, is to refer to IT Act of 2000, and it was the main law connected with cyber security in India. So what is the main law that is connected to cyber security in India? It is the IT Act, that is the Information Technology Act of the year 2000. And then we have Indian Penal Code of 1860. That is actually a book. Criminals convicted It is actually Indian Penal Code is actually a book and of 1860, and it can be used to book criminals, that is arrest criminals connect with cyber crimes. Now, India also has a cyber security policy. You can check that in the official government website. So all these three, these 1, 2, 3, you can actually note these down, and these are related to cyber laws in India. And you have to keep them in mind while reporting, or maybe while writing, or while looking into the topic of cyber crime. Now, this is an overview about the cyber crimes. You can actually read detailed analysis about cyber crimes and more laws, and the in-depth analysis of the laws, and you can get the complete article and full notes in our website. After watching the video, you can actually refer to this article to get a complete closure on the topic, and you'll be very thorough with the topic. Thank you for staying with us for so long. I hope the class has been very informative to you. Have a nice day, students. Bye-bye.